Well, Iran's tough times as an international outcast could be about to become even tougher. The US and Canada have removed the notorious Iranian militant group, the MEK, from their official terror list. Washington claims the group hasn't committed a terrorist act in over a decade. It wants a peaceful regime change in the country. RT's Maria Franoshna explains why some Iranians are wary of the move.
Mohammed shows me his box of handmade treasures. Earrings, pendants, all made from stone. The only material he could find in the prison yard.
This is how we killed time and the pain from torture and hunger. I still get headaches when I remember this time.
Iranian soldier Mohammed spent 8 years in an Iraqi jail during the 1980s Iran-Iraq war. He says he could have been freed earlier if he'd joined the MEK, the Mujahideen-e-Khalq guerrillas. The militant revolutionary group was fighting Iranian authority on the side of Saddam Hussein and recruiting new members among prisoners. But Mohammed refused.
They were terrorists killing innocent people. I couldn't have anything to do with them. I'd betray my country then.
The group indeed had a very gory history. In the 1960s, it started a bombing campaign against Iran's Shah and his allies. They were linked to the killing of American citizens and welcomed the US embassy siege in Tehran, openly calling for the execution of the hostages. The terror continued after the Islamic Revolution, with the assassination of the country's president, prime minister, along with many politicians and clerics. With generous support from Hussein, it fought hard in Iran, as well as Saddam's enemies inside Iraq. In 1997, MEK joined America's list of terrorist organizations, along with Al-Qaeda and Hamas, and was cited in arguments for the invasion of Iraq. Today, Iran, Iraq still view MEK as a terrorist group, but America's position has now flipped.
MEK is Iran's democratic opposition.
This is just part of the large-scale and successful lobby to get MEK off the terror list. Among backers, former White House officials, army generals and CIA chiefs.
It's extremely disturbing. This at the time was a terrorist group. They weren't supposed to be paying officials and moving money around, and yet somebody was turning a blind eye to that campaign. I think that MEK potentially is going to have an influence on the U.S. policy towards Iran and could get the U.S. Into a very dangerous position as far as potentially going to war with Iran.
Iranian officials second that, saying MEK may play a similar role that America-backed opposition forces played in regime change in Libya and in the current conflict in Syria.
The main supporters of these terrorist groups are Western countries because they use from the terrorism to access to their political goals.
New Yorker reporter in his article called Our Men in Iran reveals how members of MEK were trained by America's Joint Special Operations Command in a camp in Nevada.
This is part of an anti-Iran policy. Sanctions on Iran are strong, but they don't seem to work very well. America started using inside agents to destabilize the country. They're using terrorism as a tool.
And now to those questionable ties between Israel and Iran.
According to America's NBC network, unnamed US officials confirmed MEK was involved in the assassination of a number of Iranian nuclear scientists, backed by Israeli intelligence service Mossad.
By Israel's Secret Service.
This square in Tehran is named after a terror victim, an Iranian nuclear scientist killed in his own car. This area, known as Vilenjak, is a very popular and vibrant place. Many people pass through here while heading to the mountains resort outside Tehran. An ideal location to remind people about something that shouldn't be forgotten or forgiven.
Mohammed says MEK, recognized as a democratic alternative to Iranian authorities, feels surreal to him.
Nothing's changed. They are terrorists. Tactics may be changed, but still the West uses it to get information, to get what they want.
And a terrorist, he says, is likely to keep his brutal ways too. Maria Franoshna, RT, from Iran.